Okay, people, I'm sorry for that. I don't know what. So you, okay, people, I'm sorry for that. I don't know what. So you said that you don't want to be part of the U.S. no more, but you have a BC here. Okay. Renouncing U.S. citizenship is how to become stateless. Whenever a big law passes, a major Supreme Court decision drops a presidential election, that doesn't go someone's way. You always hear the same thing. I'm leaving the US. Most of this is just hot air. But for some people who do move abroad, the part most don't realize is this. Even if you live under another country's laws, you're still bound by certain US federal laws as long as you remain a US citizen. So you would have to stop being a US citizen, renounce being a US citizen. There's only one way to fully step outside of the US legal system, and that's to give up your citizenship entirely. But how do you actually do it? What does the government require? And what happens if you have no citizenship in any country? Today, we're breaking down the exact renunciation process, the paperwork, the interviews, and the day to day reality of someone who becomes stateless. Something that looks simple on paper, but it's a life altering in the real world. To any courthouse, you cannot mail it in a form, and you definitely can't click a button online. The US government requires that renunciation happen in person at a US embassy or a consulate outside the country. There are a few reasons for this one. Allowing renunciation inside the US would create an instant immigration nightmare. If you revoke your US citizenship and have no passport or visa to stay here, the United States would technically have to deport you. The person who may legally have nowhere to be deported too. Requiring renunciation to be done abroad avoids that problem. The second reason that the United States must formally notify other governments. Renunciation often affects your passport, legal identity, and residency elsewhere. Embassies and consulates are the mechanism for the international legal communication. Doing it abroad ensures smoother coordination with with the host country. The final reason for the broad requirement is to prevent renunciation under pressure or in the middle of the legal issue. If people could renounce while inside the United States, someone could try to avoid criminal prosecution, certain legal obligations, tax enforcement, or court orders. Renouncing abroad forces you to physically out of the country first so you're legal. Situation can't be instantly reset. If you decide you're serious, here's what the process really looks like. Well, here's the first step. Make an appointment at a U.S. embassy or consulate, depending on the country. The wait might be days or months. Some embassies book out half a year in advance, so plan accordingly. Step two, fill out the renunciation forms. You will need to complete a DS 4079, which asks why you're giving up citizenship. DS 4080, which is the actual oath of renunciation worth reading aloud, and DS 4083, a statement confirming you understand this is irreversible. These forms are extremely explicit. They make sure you understand you will lose the right to enter or live in the United States. The oath reads in part, I hereby absolutely and entirely renounce my United States nationality together with all rights and privileges and all duties and allegiance and fidelity thereto pertaining. I make this renunciation intentionally, voluntarily, and on my own free will, free of any duress or undue influence. The third step is to pay a fee at $2,350. The U.S. renunciation fee is among the highest in the world. For the comparison, Canada charges about $100 Canadian and Mexico about the equivalent of 100. Step 4. An in-person interview. A consular officer will ask you why you are renouncing, whether you understand the decision is permanent, whether anyone is forcing you, and whether you know what citizenship you'll hold afterward. They are not trying to talk you out of it. They are ensuring your decision is voluntary and fully informed. Step 5, sign the oath. You will read it to a witness and sign the oath of renunciation. After signing, you intend to give up citizenship, but you are officially done until step 6. The State Department approves everything. That can take weeks or months once approved. This issue, they issue a certificate of loss of nationality, CLN. At that moment, you are no longer a U.S. citizen and you live under the laws of whatever country you are in if that country allows stateless residency. What happens if you don't have another citizenship and become stateless? Yes, you are allowed to renounce even without another nationality. The U.S. does not require proof of another citizenship, but statelessness is not freedom. It is a legal vacuum. Here is what statelessness really looks like. First, you no longer have a passport. A stateless person cannot get a standard passport from anywhere. Some countries may eventually issue a stateless travel document, but only if they decide to accept you as a resident. Second, travel becomes extremely difficult. Most borders require a passport or an accepted travel document, and forget about visas. Without a passport, airports and border posts generally cannot process you. International travel becomes nearly impossible. Third, you must still follow the immigration laws of the country where you reside. Being stateless does not grant you free movement. The country where you renounce does not have to let you stay. If your visa expires, some countries may detain you or refuse entry, leaving you stuck in legal limbo because no country will accept you. Fourth, jobs, housing, banking, and healthcare become difficult. Without citizenship or recognized documentation, many systems break down. You may struggle to get legal employment, rent, long term housing, open a bank account, receive government benefits, access social services, or legally marry. Your identity becomes something many countries are not designed to accommodate. Some countries, mainly in Europe, have formal processes to recognize stateless people and issue a type of ID or residency. These procedures can take years and approval is not guaranteed. Stateless person residency does not grant citizenship. It usually offers temporary protection only. Finally, you cannot re enter the U.S. without permission. You gave up citizenship voluntarily. You lose the automatic right to return. So to visit the US, you now need a visa, and a stateless applicants can be denied simply because their situation complicates the border processing. So why do people renounce? Reasons vary. Some do it for political disagreements after a law, court ruling, or election. Others want to commit fully to another nation. People with multiple citizenships sometimes renounce one, to avoid dual citizenship conflicts. Some countries require a choice. Japan, for example, requires dual nationals by birth to choose one nationality before the age 22. There are also personal and family reasons. The bottom line, almost nobody chooses voluntary statelessness without a backup plan. While legally possible, statelessness is devastating to daily life. The United States, will let you renounce and even allow you to leave the embassy stateless. But renunciation is permanent and statelessness is real. The laws of the world assume every person belongs to at least one nation. If you are watching out of curiosity, my people, now you know the truth. If you are seriously considering this, talk to an immigration or nationality lawyer. Do not try to become stateless because you have no rights nowhere. So even if you have your own state, but if you are a US citizen and you create your own state within the US, that's another way. But you're not stateless. You still are a part of the US, but you've declared your independence in your own state, which is on your own land within the US. So it's a lot of ways, my people, but you don't want to be stateless. Stay up, stay one, stay strong, my people. And we are out.